Ben, what's happening, man?
What's up, Sean? How's it going, brother?
Dude, it's good. How long did it take you to paint that behind you? I hope you did that.
I did not do that. That's from a local artist here in Knoll.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. He's sick. He's throwing up murals and doing all sorts of art in Kona. He's sick.
Dude, now with the wave in it, dude, that really
Yeah,
looks
it's
pretty
dope.
good. Check that out.
Yeah,
They must know the owner of Malama Mushrooms well.
exactly. He does. He does. Yeah.
Dude, uh, I'll tell you, like, when I bumped into that girl that I was telling you that I bumped into in Vegas, like the first thing that came to me, I was like, oh, do you know Ben, owns Malama Mushrooms and surfs. And the reason surfing to me is like, obviously you love surfing, but everyone has some shit that they like to do, right?
Yeah,
But I asked you, I was like, I sent you a text. And like, I
yeah.
guess the way it came in a text is so perfect. I was like, dude, why do you surf? And your response was just, it's the medicine, bro. And I was like, I feel you. Like for me, that's like a trail running. And I was like,
Right,
dude,
right.
explain that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, I feel like there's many activities. I don't know. I need like physical outlets that's similar to you. I feel like we're pretty similar that way. Um, and it used to be other activities, but moving to Hawaii, it like I like for example, I used to rock climb when I lived on the mainland. Used to trail run, but in Kona, there's not really good either of those. So I kind of had to find something else. And obviously, Hawaii is like the world mecca of surfing. So just try to get good at it, try to pursue that, and took a while to like get my bearings. But now that I'm like somewhat capable, it's now to the point where it's an expression as opposed to like you know some like a new thing I'm learning. Now it's like I kind of got it, and now I can just have fun and flow with it. And like that is in the expression, that's the medicine. Just like
Yeah.
yeah, after a tough day, like that's what I need. Like the celebration, it helps with coping with stress, with work, life, all that stuff.
For
So
sure. Expression, medicine, and flow
mhm.
are words that
Yeah.
I love the combo of those. So right now, I'm up in Canada. I'm trying to ski, and I was like, me, my buddy, my girlfriend, we're up here. We all kind of had the same conversation. We're not going to get good at skiing twice a year, right? So let's go
Right,
live
right,
somewhere.
right.
It's starting to be more playful than routine.
Mm, right,
Just
right.
a little. I mean, I went
Yeah,
from if my friend Steven Gertz is a 10 out of 10 and I
yeah.
was a 1 out of 10, I'm a 1.5 out of 10. But I it's
Nice.
it's just it's just becoming a little more fun. Is that kind of like what you mean? Like you're able to when you say express yourself,
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly.
play. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's cool, dude.
It's like learning a new language where at first you're just learning like the verbs and like how to conjugate things like you're not speaking the language, you're learning the rules, and
Yeah.
then now you know the rules, you can start linking them together and start to speak it. I think that's what I mean is like you're not learning the rules anymore of skiing or surfing. You know how to do it, you're syncing it all together to yeah, exactly, express
Yeah, I put my boots on properly now.
it.
Snap my boots into my
Yeah,
skis.
nice, nice.
Dude,
You
I'll
French
tell you.
fries, you go French fries all the way down, no pizzas.
French fries, yeah. No pizza, no pizza. But you got a pizza when you come into the ski lift, otherwise you'll
Yeah,
just smash into a
no,
person.
yeah,
I've never
yeah,
done
that'd
that.
be
No.
fun.
um,
Sure, sure.
dude, I took some. I had a big sales call before this partnership
Nice.
call with a cool company out of Hawaii. I
Oh,
took some
sick.
lion's mane to sharpen up for that call.
No way.
Yeah, dude, makes me
Sick,
feel good.
dude.
Dude,
Which
I
company
take.
or NDA? Is this NDA shit?
Oh no. The company is called the Academy of Mind. Dude, okay,
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna
you're
love
talking.
this.
We were talking
Yeah,
about this.
it's called the
Okay, okay.
Academy of Mindful Movement, and they're about teaching people exactly like it sounds how to move
Yeah.
mindfully, right? Um, so it's safer. You're more aware. If you're familiar with the Japanese term satori, that's what it is. It's
Mm.
bringing satori
Mm-hmm.
to like every moment, and like, dude,
Mm.
they like the thing that I liked about them is I actually got connected through a friend
Mm-hmm.
because if I like emailed or called, it never would happen because like so I run a marketing company and I'm trying to work with companies I like. Like if I'm
Yeah,
staying
yeah,
up
yeah.
late on Friday night working for them, dope. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I would have been able to put that in the email, right? Like, hey,
Right.
like mindful movement. I mean, that's like what we were just talking about. But
Exactly.
dude, I will say the lion's mane got me feeling good. I take that kind of throughout the workday. And
Mm,
every single day I just take that, like the 8 superfood blend with the like
nice.
the cocoa one, mix it
Yeah,
in with
yeah.
my protein powder, and I'm just like a sharper Sean.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, because you're not a coffee drinker, which I find, which I'm like almost jealous of. It's like, damn,
Really?
this fool's. You've never had coffee, right?
I've had 2 cups of
You've like
coffee.
tasted two
I've
cups
had
of
2
coffee
cups
your
of
whole
coffee.
life.
All right. 3 experiences with coffee. One was several. The first one was every Mother's Day, birthday, Father's Day, or Dad's birthday. I thought it was cool, me and my brother, to like make our parents breakfast in bed and like bring
Yeah,
it to
yeah,
them,
yeah,
right? And we'd make them coffee. And my brother couldn't stand it. I didn't like it, but I could like
yeah.
stand it. So I'd sip it and be like, I don't like it, but like this is how it tastes if I take a sip from mom's. So
Right, right, right.
that's experience number one. Experience number two was I was hiking in Ecuador. Dude, one of the cool Peru, sorry. One of the coolest hikes ever. You know, we were going to Machu Picchu, which
Yeah,
Machu
yeah.
Picchu is at elevation, and we went over the Salcante Pass, which was 6,000 meters, if I'm right, which is over
Oh,
18,000 feet. Huge, snowy. Then in the
Jesus.
same day, we dropped down into the Amazon, you know, hiking shirtless, dripping in sweat. And when we were in there, we found this really small indigenous like culture that would like pick beans, roast them. What do? You peel them, grind them, and make coffee. And in
Oh,
like 2 hours, they made an espresso cup for me. And
what?
they didn't explain how strong it was. I found out it was like 4 cups of coffee, but I drank it
Oh,
and I was like,
shit.
it was like delicious and fresh, but dude, you know, not a coffee drinker. I'm like, we just hiked 20 miles.
Yeah.
What are we doing next? Like
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
like the
yeah,
whole.
yeah.
The
That's
other
crazy,
one
dude.
was I was convinced. The other one was I was convinced to drink a cup in Amsterdam because it was part of the culture.
Right, right, right.
But
That's good.
um,
So you make allowances, but it's not part of your daily routine or habits. It's like very
nah,
commendable, especially owning a
yeah,
business and
I'm not even trying to plug Malama Mushrooms. Malama Mushrooms is part of my daily
yeah,
routine now.
yeah. That's
Dude,
great. Yeah.
I, I want to hear. Obviously, if anyone doesn't know, Ben owns a sweet mushroom company, Superfoods. Check them out, Malama Mushrooms. I want to know why mushrooms and kind of like how you got started. I really don't think I've ever asked you that.
Okay. Great question. So, yeah, my background is in environmental science and agriculture. I
Yeah.
was very passionate about food systems and the environment. And unfortunately, a lot of our food systems are ruining the environment through like, industrial effluent uh, pollutions, the pesticide industry are all like wreaking havoc on the environment. Um, and I came to find out that mushrooms actually have the capability to remediate these damaged ecosystems. So they can like break down plastics, they can turn damaged groundwater and filter out the toxins to make it clean again. They can break down like motor oil, they can filter out E. coli out of water and soil. So I kind of like learned all that. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then around that same time, I learned about the actual medicinal properties of mushrooms and how they can
Mm,
actually benefit humans. A lot of people don't realize it, but our most of our modern day pharmacopoeia is like very much attributed to fungi, like penicillin, the first antibiotic that like
mhm.
prior to having penicillin, people like soldiers during World War II were more likely to die of infections of wounds in the field than the actual wounds themselves. So like infections were killing people rampantly, but they accidentally discovered this mold growing on a orange and saw that it was out competing the surrounding bacteria. And they're like, oh, this is creating something antibacterial, the antibiotic. They turned it into medicine, deployed it to the troops, and then now it's a staple of pharmacopoeia. And fast forward to today, there's like many clinical trials utilizing fungus and mushrooms that can range from boosting our immune systems, helping with cognition, like lion's mane, as you've been using, has
Yeah.
a double-blind, placebo-controlled study showing that it actually helps cognition, and so on and so forth. Man, like literally, you can name an ailment or disease, and there's probably a valid scientific study on some sort of mushroom that can help. So I just got really passionate about it. wanted to make it my life. I wanted to learn more about it, but knew I had to like support myself doing it. And no one was hiring for like a mushroom guy, enthusiastic mushroom guy, believe it or not. So I knew I had to create the job myself. So I started growing mushrooms, and I started Malama Mushrooms in Hawaii. And now, fast forward today, we're no longer cultivating ourselves, but we're partnered with some of the highest quality producers in the world and creating value added products that you can utilize in your everyday routine.
Dude, that's awesome. That is,
Yeah.
It's awesome on a lot of levels. One, good for the environment, good for people, which means just good for the world. We'll just generalize there. Two, like, people aren't hiring. That could have been the end of the story. People aren't hiring. Fuck it. I'll go be a cashier somewhere.
For real.
You took that upon yourself. That's cool. The underlying thing that I feel with both these is one of my favorite new words. When I say new words, not like I just learned this word or anything, but favorite new words to explore and realize what it really means is curiosity. And you're chasing what you're curious about. I love that. So like surfing, for example, I want to know, or your surfing is my skiing. I tried surfing, man, when I was there in Kona living, and like I just came out of the water bloody every time. I'm good. No, I'm not gonna quit on surfing. But you know, like very curious about like what does it feel like to where like you're no longer thinking, you're just flying down a mountain, or in your case, like what does it like anyway, curiosity, like what does it look like if we find a way to combine these powerful mushrooms in a way that helps people do XYZ, right? I think curiosity even can help people get through uncomfortable times. So the way I try to do it is, and I got this from somebody talking about Wim Hof's method. But one of the things that Wim Hof does is those cold showers and ice baths, right? And you know, if you jump into a cold shower, it's, you know, at one point, if you're one part of your brain can say, wow, this is uncomfortable, it's freezing, get me out of here, turn the knob up, whatever, this sucks. The other side can say like, wow, like I'm alive and awake, that's for damn sure. I have energy, like all, you know, I'm stimulated, all this stuff. Those are both true. So you just got to pick one. And if you focus on that, if you like jump into like an unknown, you focus on that, you know, you live more, you experience more emotions, you experience more things, which to me, that's like one of the best ways to learn and gain wisdom. So dude, kudos to you for getting in on your curiosity.
Thanks, buddy.
You're an entrepreneur now. I am as well. So I want to see where you're at on this. And it's a little loaded question. Are you learning about mushrooms and their effects as much as you would like to right now, or are you caught up with the business?
Yeah, the latter for sure. Definitely the latter.
Yeah. It's and not picking on you. So like I'm running a marketing company. The mission of my company is to expand the impact of wellness companies. There's some things behind it, but really one of the biggest things is I want to get into like the brains and the companies of awesome fitness and wellness companies and see the people, the companies, like how they're running and learn it. So a lot of that is like studying their business, consulting with them, whatever.
Right.
I'm finding I spend a lot of my time doing the logistical work, the stuff that has to be done, and I'm trying to pull myself out. Right? Like maybe it's take on less clients. I mean, of course you can work longer and more, but or more effectively. I think that's key. Outsource things. But yeah, man, if you had another hour every day just to dedicate towards learning more about mushrooms and whatever, what would be like the next thing that you think about?
So great question, man. I mean, there's two things. There's like all the mounds of literature we have on what we already know, right? Which honestly, in the grand scheme of things, isn't much. Like I have this big spiel is like we actually only know 7% of the world's entire fungi kingdom. So there's still 93% that have left to be just discovered, like, you know, give it a name, acknowledge it. So we really don't know that much. So I'm very interested both in like within that 7%, there's a wealth of knowledge, from the medicinal benefits to, how it can help agriculture, how it can just help society through different like materials or like remediating damaged ecosystems, all that jazz. But also just the discovery of new things. So that's actually part of a project we co-founded, is the Hawaii Fungi Project, is dedicated to the discovery of the native mushrooms of Hawaii that have yet to be like defined by science. So what I like to do for fun is like go look for these wild mushrooms, but and we've gotten grants to do this work, and we've found like 50 mushrooms that don't have names, like they're just new to science. But like that's the easy part, is to find it. And it's hard to like give it a name, do the description, get it under the microscope, go through all of the rigmarole of a scientific publication to give it a name, bring it to the forefront of science. So yeah, I mean, like that's also stuff I'd love to work on, is just like taxonomy and characterization and discovery of these new mushrooms, especially here in Hawaii, which is like such a unique ecosystem, one of the most isolated and biodiverse places in the world. That like, yeah, so that's kind of where my head goes.
That's rad.
Yeah.
That really is. I mean, it's learning something new, and it's funny, the fact that we don't know 93% means that 93% is probably bigger than 93%.
Yeah,
You know what I
100%, dude.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But that'd be fun. Hey, you'd get to hike, you get to work outside, work with your hands, and work with
Yeah.
your brain, right?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I think that's cool, and I think it's awesome that you're trying to like cover like the research side of it. I can tell you from a marketer, if like getting in on that stuff will also help the business grow down the
For
road.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like sticking true to who you are and who you are as a brand is
Right.
definitely going to help grow, because they're going to start, connecting people. Like, weren't you guys like connected to that Netflix documentary?
Yeah, loosely. Louis Schwartzberg, who directed Fantastic Fungi, they ended up doing like a subscription box after the release with a curated amount of fungi products, and our chocolate bar was included in that. And I actually just got to meet Louis at Expo when I was
That's
there
awesome.
in LA. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That expo sounded really fun.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. It was sick.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, I'm missing Hawaii seeing you in shorts and t-shirt. I got this snowy picture of mountains is kind of what it looks like outside. I skied this morning. And it was
That's so
windy
dope.
up there. It was actually a nice day. There are no complaints. Skiing
Are
on a
you like in a
Wednesday morning.
ski in, ski out area, or you gotta like drive to the resort, or how's that work?
No, yeah, we have to drive to a resort. So we're in Deadman's Flat. People probably
Okay,
know Banff National Park, and we
for
ski at
sure.
Sunshine Valley. Outside of
Okay,
Banff's a town called Canmore. Outside of
okay.
Canmore is a town called Deadman's Flats with about 200 people. It's actually not a town. The little sign says "Welcome to the Hamlet of Deadman's Flats." Like,
Oh,
I
it's
don't
a
even know what it
hamlet, huh?
I
Yeah,
don't
what
know,
the
but
fuck
it's
is
the
it?
best sign I've ever seen. Never lived in a town. This building I'm in is built like one of 40, and like 38
Yeah.
of them are houses. Next to me is a
Oh
gas
gosh.
station slash diner, and next to that is a gas station slash convenience store. That's what we got here.
Wow.
I love it, dude.
That's so cool.
But it's been fun. And you inspired me this morning. I think I haven't really shared that with you, but I remember with like really not judging, knowing that you're running a business, knowing that your business is running it pretty lean, you're doing a good bit, and that's growing, and that it means a lot to you, and you take it serious, right? I remember calling you when I lived in Hawaii, dude, like, what's up, man? Like, you want to hit the gym, you want to grab lunch, whatever. It'd be 10 a.m. You're like, oh, like, I'm just getting back from surfing, or I'm about to go surfing. I'm thinking that 10 a.m. it's 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Let's get to work, right? And that's so funny that I was thinking about that, because that's, first of all, like, that's a judgment. No need to judge, but like, it's a wrong judgment. Like, you literally became an
You can judge.
entrepreneur, so you're the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So this morning, I woke up maybe 4:30, cranked out work for 3 hours, and hit the slopes for like 5 hours. Came back, worked the rest of the day. Then I'm gonna go rock climb right after this.
Hell yeah. In a
I found
gym.
a rock climbing gym, but my hands
Oh,
are
so
beat to shit.
They'll grow. They'll grow. The calluses,
Yeah,
ligaments will grow.
right.
That's
Dude,
cool, dude. Yeah, man. I've felt that too. Like, I mean, sometimes everything comes in waves. Like there's crest and there's crest and valleys of work and life. Where things are just like I'm not looking at the water. I'm just like grind time. But then there's those times where it's like, all right, things are a little chill. Like waves are good. Like I got to be out there. You know, and definitely, yeah, exactly. Like I wanted the flexibility of a life. Like this is, I didn't take venture capital funding to like have a huge exit that gives me a bunch of money. Like I am doing this from my love of mushrooms and fungus, and because it's how I like to express myself, but also for the lifestyle. I was like, yo, things are chill. Like I'm gonna go play in the water for
yeah.
a second. You
And
know?
things, and it's funny because you in that description you said two different things. One, the first time you said the waves are good. I'm gonna go hit them. Or the
Yeah,
next time you said things are chill. But I
yeah.
I know dude, things are probably never chill for you. Like
Right,
chill,
right,
chill.
right.
It's like you're probably really good at prioritizing, being real with yourself about what is urgent, right? Urgent things don't mean they're important. Urgent
Right,
things, you
right.
need to change what's urgent, not actually. We've obviously had this pandemic that's causing a major issue in the supply chain. I don't think it's such a bad idea or such a bad issue because I'm thinking, yes, it's driving cost up, but I think it's going to change the way consumers behave to expect things now,
Mm,
now, now.
yeah,
And I think that, there's no government, nothing that is going to change consumer behavior, right?
yeah.
Unless you like do crazy tax on things. It needs to come organically. And this kind of is. I had a friend that moved out to Denver who like got like a custom kitchen and who was like, it's taking like 7 months for my custom like marble to come in. I'm like, the world's gonna end, dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
how
yeah.
like how do you even sleep at night?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no, but it's cool that you do that. What's the inner dialogue? Like what's the inner dialogue going on? I know that's a tough question, but of like how do you know like, oh, I can go surf. I
Yeah.
whatever. Like if this is good time to go, do my lambada
Yeah.
class or my
Yeah,
whatever, my workout.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I try to like, I have my finger on the pulse of the business, obviously, where and like you mentioned, like I am owner operator, like I am like kind of, captaining the ship. So I kind of know like bottlenecks, what we're not delivering on, like what needs to be done, what's coming down the pipeline. So, I have like a real, yeah, finger on the pulse of like what's happening, what is mission critical. Like things are mission critical or they're not. Like it's something that needs to be done, or it's like this needs to be done like right now. So, just because I'm so involved, I know that. And, I've been waking up every morning for like 4 years, drinking coffee, opening my laptop and like chipping away at this thing that it's just like I'm constantly in it. Like
Yeah.
whether I'm surfing or not, like I'm working, like
Yeah.
I'm marinating on like something that like needs to be done. So
Dude, I
yeah,
want to hit you.
yeah,
I want to hit you with a
yeah,
pause right there because
yeah,
so you
positive.
just said something that I'm starting to learn about. So Naval Ravikant is this like pseudo philosopher, like California guy. You might have heard of him.
Okay.
He's invested in Twitter and Uber and all these cool stuff.
Yeah.
He started Angels List.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I've
and
heard of him.
yeah, and he talks about that people should work like kind of when they're inspired. And that doesn't mean work
Mm,
less. It often means work more. And like
mm,
it means work more like as you're progressing in life, you're starting to do things you like more. So for example, today so this afternoon, I had a really, really big project I delivered for a client, proposal, and then sales call. So I blocked off my calendar, 90 minutes for one, 90 minutes for one, hour for one, and then we run into this podcast. And I'm just like looking at the day, and I actually wasn't prepared for those three things before this podcast. Always prepared for a
yeah.
podcast with you. Not only
Especially
was
with
I
you.
not prepared for it, but like that, that's long. That's 4 hours plus this is gonna be 5 straight hours of, like computer work.
Yeah.
Going into that with like just cranking out work for like 6, 7 hours before that would have just been dreadful. I came off the mountain and literally as I'm like, you could like ski almost literally to your car. My phone's already out. I'm taking notes about things I was thinking about like on the lift in the
Yeah,
road. I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
like, and I came back and that 3 hours of work took like 90 minutes because it was percolating and like,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. So
That's dope.
that's
That's so good.
it's definitely it happened to me though.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I think I mentioned this to you. I recently lost a client that was I liked them. I didn't love them. They
Yeah, yeah.
were a good chunk of the they were a healthy chunk of revenue, but an
Oops.
enormous amount of time. Enormous amount of
Right,
time.
right.
And losing them just it it changed everything for me. So it
Yeah,
happened to
yeah,
me. It was a gift. And
yeah,
I just can't believe it because like this podcast I've been trying to start for like 2 years, dude. And
yeah,
able to like take the time and prioritize it. It's pretty cool.
yeah, dude.
Um,
Have you heard of the 80/20 principle?
I have, but let me hear your take on it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly an expert on it, but like Tim Ferriss, who I like to listen to, he's big on that. And it's like you can kind of apply it to anything, but like, for example, in that case, it's like that client who is probably like around 20% of your total clients was taking up 80% of your time. So there's like it applies to a lot in life,
Hell
like,
yeah.
and you can
And it does,
flip it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. Where else? I mean, I think it can apply to a lot, and I'm sure you do too. I mean, you said it, but when I say 80/20
Well,
principle, like
oops,
you're good.
sorry, my
What
battery.
else comes up like for
Well,
you of ways that you can use it?
I mean, even let's go back to what we were talking about right before that is work. Is like, let's say you're trying to grind and prepare for those meetings the 6 hours before, but your output was the same amount of you taking notes after your inspiration skiing. So, like for example, like you spend a working day, like you're spending 80% of your day working and you're just doing 20% output. Whereas like, what if you just spent 20% of your day working inspired and then you maximize the 80% of your output? Like there's all
Dude,
sorts of ways to kind of like, play
I
with
love
it.
that. I love that example. My mom this morning sent me an email that said the most important skill you can learn is to prioritize what you do. And it made me think of another thing that guy Naval Ravikant said that
Mm,
the importance of what you do is exponentially more important and more
mm,
than the amount of work that you do. And that's proven by look at someone, like Warren Buffett, who just makes like a few huge decisions a
right,
year.
right,
Now,
right,
obviously he has resources to make these
right,
decisions, right? So
right.
just take it for what it's worth.
Yeah,
That's like,
yeah,
if for example, if you just came up with a flawless system to get your product out the door and one killer marketing campaign that brought you in 100,000 new clients, but you didn't answer a single other email,
yeah,
some things would drop a little. They drop 20%, but your
yeah,
business
yeah,
would
yeah,
gain 80%.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Huge,
saying?
dude. Yeah,
Dude,
a
it's
hundred
cool.
percent.
I'm just guessing by what you're saying. You read the 4 Hour Work Week.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, huge
Yeah, dude.
inspiration for
It's a
starting
Bi-
this. Yeah,
it's
It's-
a Bible book.
yeah, 100%, dude.
It's funny. I don't. I'm Jewish, so I've never touched a Bible, but I call books Bible books if they're like I read them regularly. What I mean by
Right,
that is
right, right, right,
not
right.
front to back. I
Yeah,
open
yeah,
it up 3 times a
yeah,
week.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I brought one suitcase of clothes that was a carry-on. Even I mean we
yeah.
drove, but it fits as a carry-on. And I
Yeah.
brought a thing about half the size of books. Not because I'm going to
Nice.
read them all in 3 months in Canada, but like I want to
Right.
look at them all.
Reference. Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah, man.
reference, like check in. Yeah, dude. That's what's up. Yeah, that book was huge for me. Absolutely
Yeah,
huge.
you're an entrepreneur, so I could tell. Dude,
Yeah.
what's the journey been like for you as an entrepreneur? Ups and downs, man. I don't even like the word entrepreneur. You have your company, I know you actually started it and then went back and got a job, right? And like
Yeah.
then came back
Yeah.
to it, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. I originally started it as a farm and like a project. Like I was talking about exploring remediation and medicine, but like really just had the resources to like start growing and then kind of realized like Well, I really wanted to work for a company. I'd never worked for a company after college, and pretty much had just started Malama Mushrooms. I was like, I wanted to have a corporate experience, even though I knew I would ultimately not want it. I just wanted to like be able to check that box. And like, you learn stuff on a job and you get paid for it. So it's kind of like continuing education. So like was definitely attracted to that, especially on a project that I was interested in. In this case, it was like a 90-acre algae farm. They grew this health supplement that comes from an algae called astaxanthin or spirulina. So anyway, yeah, started Malama Mushrooms. I knew I was kind of like didn't have enough experience, so I shelved it. Worked for that company, worked for some other companies and plants and nutraceuticals, and then eventually came back to it after I felt I had enough experience. And but then from then out, man, I gotta say, like, one of the most isolating, like grueling things ever. Like yeah, like I've done like martial arts tournaments, like free solo rock climbs, like skiing, avalanche terrain, like crazy stuff. And like the road of business is one of the most like isolating, like definitely my first time coming to grips with like mental health. It's like, oh, I don't have good mental health right now. Like I feel there's like no resources. I feel alone. Yeah, so that was like definitely really hard, but eventually, like I think I just kind of like broke through. I was lucky to have like I don't know. I had some support come through with my family. Like my mom, like actually, she is an accountant, so she began to help me with just like bookkeeping, which is like huge. Like that's something I couldn't balance. I couldn't balance that with the rest of like trying to build a business. And I don't know. Not that you asked, but like if I were to give advice for anyone, it's like starting a business or exploring that. It's like you got to have a team. Um, whether they're cutting on equity from the start or you're like you fundraise to give them money, but like
Or just
you
mentors and friends, like
mentors and friends, yeah, 100%.
mentors. And I mean, I guess I want to ask this more as a question than a statement. I don't want to
Yeah,
butt in on your point here, but I mean, whether they're fully engaged in getting paid by the business or committed in other ways,
yeah,
right? Like you have a family member that
pretty
has the resources and time to support you.
right.
That's interesting, man. I appreciate you sharing that, and I appreciate, it's interesting that you felt so kind of alone there. I've heard from basically everyone that's wanted to start something, um, that they are looking for somebody else, to help, a partner to get going. And I think I think it's a great idea, right? I mean, I do think it's important. I also think it's something that you need to be prepared to do and run alone. And I think there's a lot to gain from starting something alone. Someone's got to drive the idea, right? It's rare that someone's with you from like
Yeah,
day one, second one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And no, that's interesting. And now, because it looks like it's all fun and games. You got flexibility of schedule, you're your own boss, all that stuff. But there's the decision making. There's a lot to grind through. Um,
Mhm.
I think that's awesome. Let's end it on a high note, because I want to
Okay.
understand what's the next big thing for Malama. And
Yeah.
I say that because I love Malama. I love what you're doing. Um,
That's funny.
I want to know, is it a product thing? Like from a
Mm,
product standpoint, not like from a operations of the business or marketing standpoint. Like, do you get like,
yeah.
there's something that you think you're doing to enhance the quality, new product,
Mm,
whatever?
mm. I mean, actually, what I was working on right before this is, um, yeah, not necessarily a new product, but like we're trying to, like, I started in Hawaii and I'm passionate about agriculture, but the irony of this story is that there's not enough of these mushrooms being grown in Hawaii that I have to import in order to like meet the demand of people that want this, mushroom medicine. So it's been kind of like an awkward place in my heart of like, yeah, like why do I have to import? And like I don't really have the the bandwidth or like skill set right now to like, try to build an industrial farm and build a brand. Like I know that I'm best focused on one thing. So I'm building the brand that can hopefully create the distribution channel for, local ag. But I've been like working with a local farmer finally who's wants to contract grow mushrooms. And so right now I'm working through an exercise of just like working with, he's small, like he needs a little bit more of a premium rate to do it and like support himself here in Hawaii. So just kind of like it's a big exercise in, to what amount we can purchase from him. And then we're gonna have to do a lot of downstream processing of the product. So we're getting like way more into like exploring manufacturing. So it's been, I'm excited about it. Like nothing will really change on the product end of what the customer sees, but on the back end we'll be contributing a lot more to people here and the ag community here. So that's big on my mind.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What's your quote? You could do anything but be great at, what is it?
Now you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
You can do anything, but you can't do everything. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Let that sink in with people.
Yeah, let that sink in. Yeah.
Dude,
Ah,
I appreciate you joining. Yeah,
good to
dude.
see you, Sean. Yeah, thanks for
Holla
having me,
hopping
man.
on, man.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for being patient. I know my schedule was crazy.
Oh, you're good, man. Have a good one, man.
You too.